The thoughts of grief. It's not supposed to make sense. That's why the brain cannot fathom it.
Why?
Can you feel it? The burning in your lungs, the fire around your heart, the pressure in your skull, the words that are numb.
You'll be alright.
When, how, where, what, why, who? I am who remains, who died, the one that must lie sleeping, lie awake, lie to a point my heart breaks. But if it breaks, can it be fixed?
With what?
Could I become an addict? To pain, drugs, to want to live and die, to be reborn, to hear a lullaby?
That won't fix it.
I'm not a phone. You cannot restart me, buy a new me, because when I'm gone, I feel you will miss me. But is there a me without you? My existence is through you. Therefore, when you go, am I gone? And if so, for how long? And if too long, will I break away like bone china, an antique? You and I will be history. Does that mean, then, that I am immortalised, idealised in what I have theorised? Is it death that grips me, or the fear thereof? Surely not, when it's the one thing guaranteed of us. So, The Thoughts of Grief was a poem that I wrote when I was actually writing another story, and this character had a really complex situation for themselves, and because this particular story is a second person narrative, I'm telling you guys as the reader how to act, and I felt it was very difficult at the time to tell somebody else how to act when, to a certain extent, I was neglecting how I would react to this situation. And I know for the past 5 years for everybody it's been a bit crap. Like, let's break it down. It's been pretty bad. For me personally, my last 5 years have been filled with turmoil and grief and just a lot of inconsistency that you don't really want to dip your toe into. So it might be really easy to ignore that. And the problem with that is because I write things that are, number one, interesting to me, but I like to keep things very close to reality. Even when I have experiences in my work where there's that crossover between reality and kind of the more fantastical elements, if you want to call them that, I still want them grounded in making something that feels very real. And I felt the best way to write for this character was to kind of dig up my own thoughts and feelings about death, because that's what this character's struggling with, and they can't cope with the fact that they've lost somebody. And I felt, for me as the writer, to number one, do this scene for that character justice and the characterization of the character, that I needed to unpick that very root of the emotion. And whilst I was writing this, it kind of brought up that philosophical question that if someone really close to you has passed away, has that piece of them that they kind of bestowed on you, does that go too? Or are you actually carrying that for them? For me personally, it was my dad that died. So have I died as well? Because I'm half him. So does that mean I've gone? Or am I actually here kind of coping with that and having to push forward? And it's almost exactly what the character's going through, because for my character, they'd lost their partner in a police situation, and when you're on a job like that, you are literally putting your life into somebody else's hand. You have to be able to communicate without words because of the high stakes situations you'll be in. It'd also be like losing your right arm. That is so integral to you, and you can't ignore the fact that something that's so integral is now missing from your person. And I guess that's kind of what I wanted to look at, is if my existence is through you and you're gone, does that mean I'm gone? That's where that question came from. And then obviously I know that's not the point. Like, in reality, you are still there, that person's just not there. But you have to recognize that for a short period of time, you almost feel like you are that person that's gone too. So that's kind of what this story's about. It was, well, poem. It was to get my head in that place, but I feel like it was quite healing as a process. And that's kind of what I use poems for, is to figure out emotions very well. Like, that's what I would turn to when I'm lost in writing my fictional work, is I would go to a poem or write a poem just to kind of sort out my brain, because I feel like, for me personally as a writer, poems are so emotionally exposing and can be quite hectic in the way that you write them and structure them and read them, that it allows you to do something that you can't do with a standard novel or short story.